going to spend some time in the weeds. A lot of topics to run through, okay, including one of our buddies who has appeared on this show many times and is now the talk of the town in Los Angeles right now. There we go. In the weeds. Not hard to miss or to find Lance Lynn. Dude stands out. He's got the beard. He's got the body. He's got it all going on right now in LA, okay? He does not hide. No. He doesn't. The one thing I'll say before we dive into this is he doesn't hide when he sucks, and he'll be the first person to say that. He said that earlier multiple times on this show this year. I sucked. And he had a 6.47 ERA with the White Sox before he was traded. Then he goes to the Dodgers, 1.44 in 4 outings. 7 innings, 3 earned. 6 innings, 1 earned. 5 innings, no earned. 7 innings, no earned. That first start, by the way, Kratzy, I believe it was 3 homers, 3 solo homers. So some people were like, oh, Lance Lynn still looking like Lance Lynn, which is fine. 7 innings, 3 earned. You'll take that. But they were like, there's homers, there's strikeouts, this version of Lance Lynn. And it's like, oh, wait, no. Now he's not even giving up home runs in his last few starts. He looks like a 1 or a 2 on the mound for them now.
And they were against righties. Righties were hitting him. The thing that we had him on right after his first start, and that's what I was kind of alluding to, was the lefties that he struggled with when he was with the White Sox. They weren't getting to him with the Dodgers, and that's why I kind of leaned towards saying, like, well, what's new? And, he's mixing in the curveball. He's throwing more fastballs to lefties. That cutter diving in on their hands more and throwing it up and in. I mean, the results are ridiculous. Like, this guy's a huge pickup, and they gave the White Sox nothing for him.
well, nothing is an exaggeration, but the White Sox feel like they got good players from him. But who's to blame for this? This is what I always wonder. Guy gets traded, veteran guy Lance Lynn, been in playoff races, won World Series, done the whole deal. Who's to blame for Lance Lynn's struggles this year? Lance will take credit. He'll take the blame, say I sucked. But is there an underlying thing? Is it
Lance when he goes over too much of the blame, though? I'll tell you why.
When you go over to the Dodgers,
same person. What happened?
That's what I'm saying. But when he goes to the Dodgers, he just miraculously is good. They had to say something to him to change something. He said, like Kratz said, he changed something. So why didn't the White Sox say, let's try something different?
Because they're not built as well as an organization. That's what's staring you in the face.
You said it. I'm not saying that.
I definitely can say it. And also,
I concur.
Adam, thank you. Adam, do you concur that the Dodgers, and this isn't just with Lance Lynn, and I will say this, sure, it's a knock on the White Sox, but also praise to the Dodgers. They're number 1, at least top 3 in terms of taking guys and making them better.
I mean, look at Jason Hayward this year. That's a perfect example right there. People wrote him off as like, okay, well, it's time for you go to Japan. And look what he's doing now. He's having a hell of a year, hell of a season. And, it's fun to see. It's exciting as a player. And that culture in LA, I mean, you get there, you walk in that dugout, you're in first place and in that clubhouse, and you got Mook, you got Freddie, you just got some smiles, you got stars all day, every day. I'm sorry about it, but you ain't got to go to the South Side of Chicago. You know what I mean? No offense to it, but it gets a little dangerous over there here and there. But it's LA, and the lights are brighter, and you're playing for a better organization and a culture that is just second to none right now.
I mean, it's not just Lance though. Look at we have a tweet. I think we do. I don't know. I sent it over to that. Everyone they brought over this year has been incredible. Joe Kelly, Lance Lynn, Yarborough, Jason Hayward, J.D. Martinez. The list is like every single guy. Yeah, Adam Brazier. Every guy they brought over.
Ryan Brazier.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Adam Frazier.
Adam Frazier.
Yes.
Yeah, there is an Adam Frazier.
There is an Adam Frazier.
Different player.
Yes, exactly. Ryan Brazier, the Red Sox guy.
Yeah.
With the funky neck thing.
With a neck tilt.
Yeah. But you look at all these guys' numbers since they went to LA. It's crazy the difference so whatever the Dodgers are doing is working. But to see it happen now I get if you're there like you're Jason Hayward and you were struggling, and then you get a spring training and you get all this time to kind of build. But like these are guys that came over, boom, in the middle of the year and are making a huge difference. Here's the tweet. But I mean, JD, okay, Hayward, Peralta. Right?
Dave Peralta, especially lately, has been on fire. That's
Kike.
Kike. Look at Kike,
Right?
$5.99, and I get it. Okay, it hasn't been that many ABs yet, but still,
Ahmed Rosario, 3 homers and 50 at bats.
come on,
Right? Lance Lynn, you see his. This is obviously before, and then you have Brazier, and then you have Joe Kelly, and then you have Yarborough.
That is insane.
I mean, that's everyone.
That is insane.
Down the list.
Dodgers development, coaching, front office, the whole deal. Stand up and take a bow. Holy shit! It's like every new dude to the ball club.
That's amazing.
That is incredible to be able to do that. If you did that with a few guys, I think they would have been really happy about it. No? I mean, dude, there's some front offices, like I always remember.
You get one guy to do that, you're like, holy shit, we figured it. We developed this guy.
Dude, there was one year where when Billy Epler was running the Angels, he made like 6 or 7 signings that added up to like $36 million because I remember being pissed. I think it was the year Cole signed, and I was like, this is how much you could have paid Cole. And every single player was terrible. Every single player, like completely bombed. You know, it was like Matt Harvey and Cody Allen and all these guys that had success in other places, and not one of them panned out from what I remember. And look at the Dodgers. They're running laps around certain teams.
I want to know what they do. But I want to know what they do, though.
Well, we need to ask
We need to get Kratz to get a job somehow, like get hired, like inside job, and figure out what they do. Because
you got to get Dontrell on.
Oh,
does he work for the Dodgers?
Yeah, he works for the Dodgers and under with the farm director. So
who is the farm director? Do we know who the farm? Who is the farm director?
Going on. He knows what's going on down there, and man, he's saying when I talked to him a couple of days ago just about that, he's just talking about they are producing arms down there, and they just have a good formula. They're letting these kids throw. Get back to old school, letting these kids throw. You got an arm, you throw. You need to throw the baseball. It's okay to throw. You know what I mean? These kids are so specialized in everything, so. Dontrell will be a good one to talk to about it because he's firsthand in that organization.
Will Rhymes is the farm director. That's the name.
Will Rhymes.
You know?
Yeah, played for came up with the Tigers. Had a little cup of tea with the Tigers and the Rays.
Buster Rhymes. Yes.
Okay, it's ringing a bell. Great immaculate grid guy, by the way. But
100%.
Not anymore.
Jonesy, here's my question. Like for someone like, say, Hayward or Kike getting traded over there now, there's got to be something to it beyond just, hey, this is a good ball club. And not that Boston was that bad, right? But
right.
I'm just wondering, for example, about teams that are not playing well, right? Like the Royals suck this year, but Bobby Witt is really coming on strong right now, right? Like the Angels are never really good. Ohtani does his thing. So it can't just be like, oh, well, Lance Lynn was on a shitty team or something. Like there's plenty of players that exceed on bad ball clubs. So everyone wants to know, like, what's the formula here?
I mean, superstars are superstars. Like I said, Witt is a budding superstar. So, you know, he's going to do what he does no matter what's around him. But again, like Kike, he's a spark plug. You know what I mean? He goes off in these great spurts, and he can carry a team for a week or two. And getting back to LA, getting back to that energy, getting back to that Latin energy that he's been used to. It ain't the same Latin energy that's up in Boston. Now maybe in the clubhouse, but not in the city the same way. Now you get to LA, he's back to dancing and you know, feeling himself all going down the Soul Train line of the dugout. And it's back to having fun in a different way for him. Not to say Boston's not fun. Boston, AJ, as you know, is a completely different organization and how they handle business than it is in Dodger Stadium. And Kike is back to having fun. Jason Hayward's back to having fun. And that's the Dodgers formula, how it seems to what the personnel that they get is. No matter who the superstar is, and they got plenty of them, they all are playing the game correctly. They play it with a smile on their face, but they play it. You know, they play it with a chip on their shoulder too, as like when they went down to San Diego and played the Padres a couple weeks ago, or like a week ago.
And also, this is not an accident. Can we show the tweet from Alden Gonzalez? So the Dodgers have won 11 games in a row, 15 out of 16 in August. They're on pace to win a hundo. They're up double-digit games in the division now. This is a pace to win a hundo for a third consecutive year, and this is a great line. Oh, and Lance Lynn is pitching like 2008 CC Sabathia, which is, I mean, 08 CC
was unbelievable.
Insane.
Unbelievable.
It was such
Plus,
a pickup
I was happy
for Milwaukee.
CC got out of the AL Central.
You personally.
Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, I had to
know.
face him a lot.
He was happy to be able to hit, so it worked out for everybody. But
okay,
the
so
point
is this Dave Roberts? Is this Mark Pryor? Is this the front office?
everything,
Everything.
everybody.
It's entire.
But
It's
the
an
August
organization.
success, the August success, I think that's important here too. Is some teams
Well, they take divisions and they're in the middle of it, and they just go, whoop, and they rocket blast away from it, like they did this. I mean, they're doing it again.
But some teams, like in this time of year, they fall apart and crumble. I will say, and I know they're playing well, like Seattle has that pitching foundation, starting pitching wise. You see teams, you find cracks in starting pitching when you get to August, don't you?
Well, yeah, but
With
the
certain
Dodgers
ball
got
clubs?
Lynn, who's on fire.
That's what I'm saying.
Yarbrough came in and has been unbelievable. Now, he's not starting, but he's like, they're using him with the opener, and then they bring him in a lot of times after, right? But some of the Kershaw's back, pitching unbelievable.
Because it's a marathon. They take
Arias
care
is
of him.
back, right? I mean, so the one thing the Dodgers know, and I think Jonesy and Kratzy will agree with me, they know they're probably going to be in the postseason. They know they're going to be in the playoffs, more than likely, unless something crazy, wicked crazy happens, right? Wicked had. But so what they do is they build to this moment, whereas other teams are trying to just, oh my gosh, we're in the postseason. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? Right? So the Dodgers just build, because their ultimate goal is what the Yankees used to be, to win World Series, because they know they're going to be in the postseason.
But I'm going to stop you there, okay? Kratzy, you can help me out here because you probably see this all the time, right? Because this is going to go up on socials and whatever, and some people are going to be like, yeah, talking good about the Dodgers, give them attention, whatever, which we're doing. Then you're going to have some people go, oh, and how many titles have they won during this regime? One during the COVID year, which to me, it was a tournament, like it was the regular playoffs. But yes, they've only won the one World Series title out of it. So
Right,
they're thriving in August, but not always in October, which is tougher to accomplish.
Yes. World Series is so hard to win. You get teams that are hot for a 7-game series early on, 5-game series. It's so difficult. Look at what the best teams were last year. Dodgers, Mets, Braves. Didn't even make the NLCS. If you gave me the Dodgers, Mets, and Braves and then everybody else to make the NLCS, one of those teams, I would have taken them. You can't judge it based on World Series, because then you're going to say, well, if the Braves don't win 7 World Series in the next 7 years, it was a failure because this team is unbelievable. That's not how it is. The Dodgers know what it takes. I think is it 10 straight playoffs they've made so far. I think
Something like that, yeah.
At
whatever
least.
it is, they know they're going to be in, like AJ said, and they know what it takes to get in. And now they're talking about, like, how do they set up their bullpen? How do they set up their rotation? Make sure Kershaw's healthy. I bet he could have probably pitched through some of his injuries in the last few years to get a few more starts. But knowing what it takes away on the back end, they're getting these guys healthy. And this is where, in August, guys get tired. Bullpens get tired. And that's why I'm surprised Seattle's bullpen blew it the last few nights, because their starting pitching is awesome. And they go the deepest of any starting pitching in the league. And that's how you get to this point with your pitching, and you keep them healthy so that you're going like this into the postseason and not like this. And that's what the Dodgers do so well. And I would put them at the top right now of a chance to win the World Series.
100%. Them and the Braves are probably by far your National League favorites, right? And we're talking about the Braves. Remember the Braves
Not
won?
by far. I think the Dodgers could put
No,
up
I
with
said
them.
the Dodgers and Braves are by
Oh,
far
Dodgers
the
and
two
Braves. I
teams
thought
for
you
the
said
National
Braves.
League.
Yeah.
My question is, the Braves in the 90s, they won how many division titles in a row? 14 in a row, and
Yeah.
they won one. It's hard.
Hard.
You can have the greatest team. The Seattle
And they're
Mariners.
pissed about it. You talk to those guys. Like, I worked with Smolty
Yeah.
for years, and he's like, damn, dude, I
But-
should have won more. But I'm
Yeah.
like, it's fucking hard.
2001 Mariners won 116 games. Probably the best team I've ever played against. They didn't win shit.
Yeah.
Yankees knocked them out, right? It's what Kratz said. It's so hard. Jonesy, you've been in the playoffs. Kratz, you've been in the playoffs. It is so hard when you get there to win. Everything kind of has to go right. You can have the greatest team in the world, but if breaks go the wrong way, you lose. And you lose games, you can lose in that short series quick.
But
No, I was just going to say, it happens from series to series. How electric was the 14 ALDS for you guys, Jonesy?
Amazing.
It was electric. I mean, when Delman hit that ball to left and he comes, rolling around, the cameras were shaking. You guys rolled into KC and got your ass
Mortified.
swept.
Mortified.
like it just. But I'm saying it happens so fast. It happens so fast, and you can't build it analytically. You can't build it any other way other than, all right, boys, let's go. Like,
That's the
we got to
game.
run it more than everybody else.
Yeah, that's the game.
One comment though, and then I do want to sneak in one more story. Luke Skywalker in our chat,
He has the force.
who's smart, asked if the Dodgers are so great in quote fixing players, why couldn't they do it with Cody Bellinger? But that's the whole point. Like some teams look at it, they're like, it's a win if they're able to turn around one or two guys. They're turning around. You can't turn around everyone.
Bellinger won an MVP. I'm
Number
pretty sure.
Two, Bellinger, yeah,
and he won a World Series.
Yes,
I mean, he was down, but the Cubs made an adjustment. Maybe listen, as players, and Jonesy and Kratzy, as players, it's kind of like we got into the argument with Jake Bowers. Bellinger was probably stubborn. I don't know this, but he was probably stubborn, and he was hearing the same thing from the Dodgers. You change scenery, guess what? There wasn't a lot of teams paying a lot of money for Cody Bellinger this offseason. Now, I don't know that, but I'm assuming.
No, he wasn't getting $200 million offers, which he might get this offseason.
He got a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Right? And he went to the Cubs, and the Cubs says, you need to make these adjustments. And he's made adjustments with his hands and his stance. Whereas before the Dodgers, he didn't do it. He's like, I've been good. Why do I need to change?
No, and he also was changing sometimes, and it gets in tough mechanical spots like Hayward. And Hayward now, it clicked.
Yeah.
Change of scenery does world of wonders. You know what I mean?
Not always, but sometimes new voices. Yeah. And then when you get older, you're like, shit, I need to maybe listen because it ain't working.
Exactly, because you find yourself like, oh, well, I maybe had one or two offers. And then, again, if he didn't have a good year, if he had a subpar year like the last couple of years, he might find himself into, the 1 year deal or 2, 3, and then may find himself in minor league deals. The great players make adjustments. The guy's a former MVP, and he's playing like one right now, which is amazing to see. And again, sometimes just hearing that different voice, like, hey, I know LA is the spot and that you've been there, but hey, I've been watching you a long time. Change this and you'll get back to your success. And again, he's healthy. You got to remember that too. He went through a bad shoulder injury. I never went through anything like that. I never made excuses, and I'm sure he'd never make excuses for his play. But it's really hard to play when something bad is going on with your body physically. So I'm just glad that he's healthy and having a hell of a year.